Most people analyzing SUI are missing the bigger picture. If the macro environment isn't right, even the best projects will struggle. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about whether or not I think the overall macro economy supports a crypto bull run. When you take a look at SUI, we are trading at $1.41 and we are down about 7% in the last week, and we have been in a downtrend since about October 10th when we saw that massive liquidation event in the overall crypto market. Now, in my opinion, guys, I don't believe that this is because SUI is a bad project. In reality, I believe it is because the overall macro economy has had a lot of FUD in the past couple of months. We had a government shutdown that lasted nearly 2 months. We had a lot of potential war FUD going on, FUD around the tariffs and the Supreme Court potentially banning the tariffs. And for the crypto market in particular, we have a lot of people who are dead set on the 4-year halving cycle for Bitcoin. And if you're familiar with the 4-year halving cycle, it predicts that we should be in a bear market right now and that bear market should last until towards the end of 2026. With all that being said, I do believe that there is a lot of very bullish things taking place in the macro economy that will likely lead us into a crypto bull run, unlike anything we've seen since 2021. Now, the first thing that I wanted to talk about is something that I mention a lot on this channel, and that is the fact that we are just now entering the expansion phase on the business cycle. And you can see that they are purchasing approximately $40 billion worth of treasury bills per month, and they are doing so to help manage the bank reserves that have been undoubtedly struggling since about 2022. This is the first time we've seen the Fed inject liquidity back into the market since 2021, and I expect them to be doing this for at least 1 to 2 years. Historically, guys, it is best to be invested into risk-on assets like crypto when we are going into quantitative easing, and I don't expect that to be any different this time around. Now, you might say, well, if that's the case, then why have we not seen much bullish momentum return to the overall crypto market? In my opinion, it's because it takes time for this liquidity to make it to the hands of the everyday person, and you can see that playing out on the United States ISM manufacturing chart. Although we are repurchasing a lot of treasury bills, people still do not have money to spend, and when people don't have money to spend, manufacturers in the United States are not going to be willing to increase their overall production of products because people are not buying them. So you can see December is actually at a somewhat low level at 47.9 on this chart. But guys, when you zoom out on this chart and go back to the last time we were in quantitative easing, it started in April of 2020. And April of 2020 was the absolute lowest that this chart has been in multiple years. But you can see slowly but surely this chart started to skyrocket thanks to quantitative easing until about March of 2021, and that is also the same time that Bitcoin hit its local top of 67,000 at the time. So based on the fact that the Fed is going back into quantitative easing, I expect to see a rally on this chart back to the low to mid 50s within the next couple of months. If that does end up being the case, that is when I expect to see a lot of bullish momentum return to the crypto market, and that is when I expect strong altcoins like SUI to go parabolic. Another thing that is playing out in real time is the US dollar index is starting to crash. We are currently sitting at the lowest level on this chart that we've seen since 2022 when we started to hike the federal funds rate. Historically, when the US dollar starts to lose value, people rotate their capital into risk-on assets as a way to diversify against the falling dollar, and I do not think that that will be any different this go around. And also, going back to the 2021 topic that we just discussed, you can see that this US dollar index bottomed at around March to May of 2021, the same time that Bitcoin was going on a parabolic run. Now, you can see that a lot of people did front run this move as the prices of gold and silver have gone parabolic for this very reason, but a lot of times, guys, when gold and silver starts to go parabolic, it is actually a leading indicator that the prices of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and top altcoins will start to pump. So I think that we are very, very close to a potential breakout. So with these things being said, I think that the overall macro economy is much more important than the 4-year halving cycle for Bitcoin and the fact that some of these altcoin charts do not look very good. I think it's just a matter of time before Bitcoin starts its next leg up, and once Bitcoin gets to around 130 to 180,000 and starts to slow down its run, that is when I expect SUI to go parabolic. If you watched my video from earlier this week, I said I expect SUI to get anywhere between between a $50 billion market cap to a $100 billion market cap, and I still think that that is very reasonable. So if you are buying down here at $1.40, you have a potential opportunity to 10 to 20x your investment in a relatively short period of time. Now, of course, guys, I do not have a crystal ball, and this is not financial advice. I'm just giving you guys my opinion and going over some things that back my thesis. So please make this decision on your own and do your own research independent of this video. All right, guys, and then the last thing that I wanted to talk about, which is very bullish for the crypto market in particular, is the fact that the US Senate is going to vote on the crypto market structure bill tomorrow. If this bill does end up getting passed, I believe that it will be a very bullish catalyst for the overall crypto market because it makes it significantly easier for institutions and banks to enter the space. So definitely keep your eyes out for this event, as this could cause a lot of volatility, and hopefully this decision does not keep getting delayed, because I do believe that the crypto market is in need of a bullish catalyst. And guys, I think that it is very important for me to also mention a potentially bearish catalyst that is a short-term concern, and that is the fact that the US government could potentially be going into a shutdown on Saturday. Now, the good news is that these odds have been actually starting to drop as of the past couple of hours, as we were sitting at almost an 80% chance at one point, and we are now down to a 63% chance. So keep your fingers crossed that this does not happen, because this is the last thing that we need. Everybody, including myself, is ready for crypto to start trending back to the upside, but these constant negative macro events taking place are basically just halting this move from happening. And if we do end up going into a government shutdown, expect a lot of bearish volatility, at least in the short term, and I wouldn't be surprised if this ends up being a sell the rumor buy the news event, where our local bottom is actually on Saturday and we start to trend back to the upside. But alright guys, that's gonna do it for this video. I know that this video was a bit different than my typical videos on SUI, but I hope that you appreciated a different perspective on this coin. I'll be talking to you guys tomorrow. Peace.